Howdy everyone, so time for the Ecuador video, and the first piece of information that wasn't the greatest news. I didn't actually get to see Our Lady of Good Success, and the reason for that was that the days when I was in Quito, where she is, were the same days that there were massive protests in Quito. I don't even really know what exactly it was about, but they were protesting for a number of days there, and they were very violent protests, and no bus or no taxi would agree to take us to Quito, to the center of Quito at least, where the convent is, where the statue of Our Lady of the Good Event or Our Lady of Good Success is. And so I wasn't able to see it. I went all the way to Ecuador. It's the first time I've ever left Europe, and I couldn't see probably the main thing I really wanted to see in Ecuador. Because of these protests that did turn very violent, there was one taxi driver who said, look, there's no way he's going there. You can go there by foot if you want, but it's your own risk, and he wouldn't recommend it. So we ended up not going, basically. So that was a great shame. But despite that, there were a number of other very nice Catholic themed things that I saw while I was in Quito. I did see this great big statue of the Virgin Mary. The statue is called the Virgin of El Panecillo. It's kind of similar to the statue of Jesus in Rio de Janeiro, except that it's the Virgin Mary. Actually, the statue of Jesus in Rio de Janeiro is smaller than this statue. This statue is about 135 feet. It's a very big statue, completed in 1975, and it's really beautiful. As you can see, it's a very nice statue. You can go inside as well, and there's all kinds of information about how it was built. It was put together with about 7,500 separate pieces, something like that, from what I remember. Another thing that I went to see, and it was near Quito, not in Quito, was Our Lady of Quinche. Now, I hadn't heard of Our Lady of Quinche before, to be honest. I didn't know anything about it. It's not, strictly speaking, an apparition site, but the story goes something like this, and I do want to maybe make a video later sometime to go into more detail about it. But there was a peasant who carved the statue of Our Lady over 400 years ago, and he wanted to offer it to a certain tribe, and they had no interest in it at all. So he ended up giving it to another tribe who exchanged it for some plywood or something. And they had this statue, and it turned out that supposedly when they were singing by the statue started glowing. Then some lady made like a jacket for the statue and put it on the statue, and then when people came and actually touched that jacket, there were reported healings and cures of various ailments and illnesses. So eventually it became like a place of veneration, a statue of, it was venerated. Pilgrimages took place to the statue, and then they built an entire church, or more like a cathedral. It's very big. And it's a beautiful place. I went inside, it's really lovely. Then another place that I went to is in Guayaquil. There's a point in Guayaquil where you climb over 400 steps, and when you get to the top of that, it's like a really high viewing point, and you get to see Guayaquil from that point. And they also have a lovely little church there, and so I went into that church, and the church looks really nice inside. I actually think it looks really beautiful outside. At night, it just looks really stunning. Just a lovely little church, not very big, but it just looks so pretty. I also went to the Galapagos. I kind of felt like if I'm in Ecuador, I might as well go there, because most people seem to know the Galapagos Islands. And if you're ever going to Ecuador, or if you've been, they might say, did you go to the Galapagos Islands? So I felt, well, maybe I should. It's very nice. That was more of a touristy place. A lot of tourists there, a lot of people from the USA there as well. I looked all around, well, maybe not all around the island, but I did have a good look around the island to see if they had any churches. There was just one, a little church that you can see here. It was nice. It was very simple. I didn't take a picture inside. I probably should have. One thing I noticed, though, when I was in that church is they had the tabernacle on the side rather than in the middle. Now, I prefer it in the middle. I think a lot of people think it should be in the middle. I'm not going to overly go into, criticize if it doesn't have the tabernacle in the middle. Fine, it's their choice if they want to put it on the side. It's still there. I would prefer it in the middle, but it doesn't have to be. But the thing that I found odd was that a lot of people, despite the tabernacle clearly being on the side, when they walked past the middle, they actually knelt down and did the sign of the cross, as you do when there's a tabernacle in the middle, which is showing respect and reverence to Christ. But they were doing it in the middle, but the tabernacle was on the side. And it's almost like it was just kind of something that they're used to doing. You're used to going through the middle and kneeling down and crossing yourself, and then yet there's no tabernacle there, so you're kind of just doing it in front of... I mean, there was a cross with Jesus on it, I think, but so you're kind of doing it to that, I suppose, but you're not really doing it to the actual present Jesus in the tabernacle. Overall, generally speaking, Ecuador, very nice place. It was very hot, of course. There were a few things that were a little bit odd for me. One of those was people selling things in the street. I heard a lot of them are Venezuelans who have come over because Venezuela's in a terrible state. And pretty much every traffic light you stop at, they come over to the car, even if you're in a taxi, and sort of get in your windows and try and sell things to you. Another thing that was a bit strange was there were a lot of people in Guayaquil specifically who would claim a bit of the sidewalk, the pavement, decided it was theirs. They didn't work for anyone. They didn't work for the council or anything. They just decided this bit of sidewalk was theirs, and they sat there in a chair, and if anyone parked in that area, because it was usually in places where there were shops and stuff, you would have to pay them money. They were kind of like human parking meters, and they just claimed a bit of road and decided this, you have to pay them if you park there. Another thing a bit odd was that you put toilet paper in the bin. You don't put it in the toilet. Apparently the drainage systems there just aren't good enough to take the paper, so I found that a bit weird, putting toilet paper in the bin next to the toilet. But as far as religiosity goes, as far as Catholicism, it was lovely. It was lovely to step into taxis and see rosaries. In almost every taxi I went into, there was a rosary. There was a picture of Our Lady of Sorrows in a pharmacy. There was a picture of Jesus Christ when I went to get my COVID test done, just on the wall, because I thought I might need to get one to come back, but I didn't in the end. So that was really nice, you know. I was there in the month of June. It wasn't like London. While people in London were having to go through this, I was seeing beautiful churches and pictures of Jesus and Mary in places where you would never find them here. In London, if you go to get a COVID test done, you're not going to see a picture of Mary or Jesus on the wall. Even if the people there are Catholic or Christian, they just wouldn't do it out of fear. So anyway, that was my trip to Ecuador. It's a real shame that I can't tell you and show you pictures and video of the convent where we have the statue of Our Lady of Good Success, because that was kind of the main thing I really wanted to do. But it wasn't possible. I was in Quito at the wrong time and I wasn't able to go there. But I have shown you some other footage. I hope that you found that interesting. I'm still reading the books on Our Lady of Good Success, the 2 volumes. I've almost completed the first volume. I want to do the second volume after that. And I really would like to get in touch with the author of those books, because she supposedly translated the original books that were written in 1790 by Father Manuel Souza Pereira. So I would love to talk to her if it's possible, if I can find a way to contact her. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, folks, and please come back soon. I'm not going to keep saying see you again soon, because I realize that doesn't make much sense, because I'm not actually going to see you. But please do return. If you do like some of the videos on this channel, please do subscribe as well and like them. I don't normally say that in videos. I don't like saying that, but I know that likes, for example, can help a video show up in places, and I do get the feeling that YouTube kind of suppresses videos like this on Catholicism, so maybe those likes can help make it more visible. But yeah, thanks for watching, folks, and come back soon.